Welcome to the first episode of the Berea Podcast.
Back in 1989, I saw a dark-haired girl wearing a suit vest over a white t-shirt. She was sitting on the sidewalk behind Berea Baptist Church in a group along with other young people who'd been in Berea less than 72 hours.
I remember we all had to get in line by birth date order, and that is how I met a dear friend who was also maid of honor in our wedding. When we got married. Years later. 4 years to be exact.
I grew up in a small farmhouse in rural Shelby County. We were 15 miles away from the closest stoplight. That's how far out we were. I miss being able to go most anywhere and easily play 6 degrees of separation with whatever's in my line of sight.
I grew up mostly in Pike County and spent a lot of time with my aunts and uncles and cousins getting together. We'd go over to my uncle's house and the grown-ups would play a board game, usually the game Aggravation, and the kids would play our own games. People from up the road who were also cousins would drop in at my uncle's house and they might play some music, like actually play music on instruments like guitars, and my mom would sing. My uncle had us kids convinced we were all going to be in a band. Anyway, the point is there were always people around doing things together when I was growing up.
Sure enough. Nowadays, Della and I have been married since 1993, and we've lived like 99 different places, Lexington and Louisville, Pikeville and Frankfort and on and on. But moving to Berea, that was different.
Yeah, it's because we moved to Berea because it was an unforced choice. We were happy in Frankfort. It was really good. We had some lovely friends, and we really loved our church community there, and we really loved our house. But because you were commuting an hour to work in Berea, we just really asked ourselves, would it be better to move? We mapped out the pros and cons and concluded that moving to Berea offered an opportunity for us to connect to a community the way we remembered in our idealized version of our childhood.
We were going to choose to live within walking distance of my work. And it turns out it also happens to be, near the college, where we went. And that puts us within walking distance of City Hall and the library. There's a bookstore and the local restaurants that are popping up in the community school where our daughter's a student. And since Della works from home, it's also easily walkable to her work.
Oh, yes. I have such a long 2-second commute. We have lived in Berea now for almost 2 years. We're very happy with our decision, but the tendency we have sometimes is just to focus on what is happening inside our house and not engage with what is happening around us. Like we're visitors passing through the town. And that may be a holdover from where we have moved so much. We want this to be different. That was the reason we moved.
Absolutely. We don't want to feel like tourists, and we want to go through life thinking that this is where we're putting down roots here in Berea, and that we really should get to know it better. So we're going to make the active, intentional decision to do that. And that's what the show is about. We're on an adventure to get to know Berea and share with you what we find.
So join us as we learn all about Berea.
So what's coming up in the next few weeks, Della?
I think we're going to interview some interesting people we meet in Berea. Some
that made this feel like home already.
Yes. Because, we've been here 2 years. It's not like we did move here just yesterday. So we've already met some people who make us feel at home.
Absolutely. I also took a tour recently on a bus through Berea, and I want to do a show just on that because it talked on the history, some surprising things that I didn't know, but it gets into that where on this street corner this happened.
And we'll go to places that we're interested in learning more about and ask people why things look a certain way. When was something built? Where are the best deals? Where does everybody in town go to get a certain thing? Just like you said, when you were growing up in Baghdad, you loved being able to play 6 degrees of separation with everything, not just everyone that you saw. So we're here to make the connections.
That is the goal. So stay tuned for the next future weeks. It's going to be a fun adventure. Till next week.
Bye-bye.
Today is why I stay.